Guys, this is something we've been waiting for a long time. All right, so the portals for the SCX24, they're finally here. I purchased these from Old Time RC. I did the backer thing, so it was like 50, 55 bucks for these portals and a bumper. I don't know what I'm gonna use the bumper on. Haven't even looked at it yet. Don't even know what it looks like. But I was interested enough in these that I had to pick up a set, and they finally came. All right, I've seen several people that's already got theirs, but mine just came in yesterday, late yesterday, so we're gonna open these up and see what all we got here. All right, so you can see here I got everything laid out. Here's the bumper it comes with. I have no idea what I'm gonna use this on, but basically it was free. I just wanted the portals. You can see one bag here has all of your gears, bearings, everything I guess needed there. This has your actual axles and pins and screws, all that stuff. And then this is basically your housings. So that's my main concern with these really, is the steering knuckles. That looks kind of weakish. And it's 3D printed basically, and I break everything that's 3D printed. So we're gonna find out if these can hold up, I guess. Looks like we take those apart. We'll trim these little nubs off, and we'll try to get these assembled. I'm not gonna do a full install of these. They have a great video showing the install process. It comes with this little sheet, and you can just scan this and their install video will pop up, I guess. But I don't know. I'm super excited for these, but being 3D printed, I'm a little worried about them. So we will find out. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and put them on this truck. This is the one I'm running for the most part. And really curious to see if I like portals or not. This is something I really wanted for a long time, but I'm kind of not sure I'm really even going to like it, but we'll find out. So that's what we're here for. So you'll see on the rear, these are pretty easy. Basically you just take the wheel hex and pin out, and then you take the two screws holding the axle in, pull those, mount up this new plate for the portal just like that, and install the regular bearing they give you. There's flanged bearings, which I guess are going to be for the front, and then there's just regular bearings. You'll slap that bearing in there, and then we're going to get started on the gears. Okay, so we got the gears installed here. If I can get it to focus. Basically, you take one of these axle shafts, you put the pin in this back side, farthest away from the threads. Then these gears have a slit in them. If I can get that to focus where you can see it, maybe. But it slides over the pin on one side. There you go. And mine was a little tight. I had to line it up and kind of tap it a little bit to get it, because you got to get it fully seated on there or the gears won't really line up right. See how those, they're flat, they're lined up perfect. So then I'm going to put a little bit more grease, I think, but you want to put a little grease on there, and then you're going to tighten your original wheel nut down onto this gear. So I had to go search for some wheel nuts because I'm running these Treal extended hex. And then your flange bearing that I was talking about, see how that's got the flange? It's gonna go on the inside of this cover. So this cover goes on like this. It's gonna go on the inside of the bottom here. So you're gonna drop it in there, and then you're probably gonna have to take something and kind of make sure it's down in there flat, like that. Just because my finger's too fat to get in there. And then this is gonna go on. Like that. Then we're gonna put our bolts in, and this one's basically done. Put our pin back in, wheel hex, and wheel back on. So you can see the clearance there we're gonna gain. It's pretty exciting. So this is my problem with the 3D printed. One screw caught and snugged up, and I did not tighten these tight at all, but you can see how easy I'm turning this, and that's not tightening up, it's just turning. So those threads in there on that back side of that are just not good. Two of them are doing that. One there and one here. That one's actually catching a tiny bit now, so I'm gonna leave it alone. This one, not catching it at all. And I barely tightened these in. It just did not catch at all from the get-go. Maybe that'll hold, but just not big on threading into 3D printed stuff. Hopefully it'll hold. I like the design, seems like it's gonna be good. Just not a fan of the 3D printed looking stuff. So we'll see. All right, so there's a little bit of a compatibility issue here. Not really a problem with the portals, but you can't really use them with these Treal hex, these weighted hex that I love, because if you can see those threads there sticking out from the stock axle up here, wants to hit the weight. See that? So this is your stock axle up here. Those threads stick out. They stick out a little too far. So when this hex goes on, when you tighten that down, it's rubbing the inside of that weight, and you get tons of binding. So what I did, I just took the Dremel and cut that off and evened it up, so I can still run my weights. I love these, and you know, I guess you could just not run these, but then you don't get to use the Dremel and cut stuff, so what's the fun in that? If you ever have to get in there and do anything with that axle, it may be wasted, but who cares? It's a stock axle. It's pretty much junk anyways. So it's a pretty simple fix. Both sides grinded down flush. Now you can see that don't stick out like it did before. So I'll be able to run those weights. One thing I would really like to see them do with these maybe is, it's hard to show here, make like a flange here with a hole through it so that this stock screw could go through this outer cover also, and then you would be screwing into a stock axle housing with better threads, because these threads for this screw into this are not holding very good. So there's a little gap in there, and I don't know, it seems like you're gonna get crud in there, and I'm hoping these hold together good enough that they don't just come apart. See that gap between the two casings? You cannot tighten these screws here down like at all. They really just don't even grab. I mean, they're holding. See that gap in there? So that's a little bit of an issue in my opinion. And I'm not trying to knock these. Maybe you won't have any of these troubles. I'm just trying to be honest about anything that I come across. I love the look of these. I think they're going to be cool, but maybe a couple little kinks here and there that can be worked out. So there's a lot of really tight fitting stuff. I've had a little bit of issue trying to get the pins into these axles. Okay, so this into that hole is really tight. You have to kind of get it started, and I've had to line mine up and like tap it in, which is good because it don't just fall out on you, but it makes it really hard when you're trying to get that pin perfectly centered so this gear can slide onto it. So just know that's a little bit of a pain. And then the gear going onto the pin is very tight also. Mine fit pretty well like down in here. I had this all set up, but it fit kind of like that, and I was able to just tap on this shaft a little bit and get it to go down in that gear all the way. So just some really tight fitting parts. So just know that when you go to install these. So these threads on these are just not good. Here's another screw. And I'm not dumb, I didn't tighten it in there too tight. It just does not catch anything at all. So that screw is just pointless, it's doing nothing. So we're gonna end up with a lot of wobble, and there's a lot to be desired with these. I'm just gonna say that now. So every one of these have had screws that did not take, and watch this flex. So that sucks. I may take back these out, put a little dab of super glue on them or something and run them back in, but shouldn't have to do that. They really need some bolts up high. All right, guys, so I tried to be nice and give the benefit of the doubt with these portals. I hate to bash any, what I would call maybe smaller company like this, because, you know, I always like to see more people step into making parts for these SCX24s and stuff. For a long time, all we had was hot racing, you know, and then we had Treal jumped in there, and then you started getting more and more, and then you had somebody like Mofo RC that came in and was kind of like this old time RC, I would say. Maybe they do a lot, but I haven't heard of them before these. But Mofo just kind of took over, you know, so like you never know when somebody like that's going to come along. But these, I cannot get behind these. All right, look at the flex in there, and this is not even tight. I'm just putting it on there just to show you. But look at the flex. Just a tiny bit of pressure on there, and the whole case is moving because these screws are doing nothing. Because this is all 3D printed, and it's not working. This one is the worst, and hopefully you can see that. This one's not as bad, though. A couple of these screws actually held. Both of the rears have a little play in them, not as bad as this one. This one is definitely the worst, but that's just not going to work. You know, you get in a spot and you get a little bit of a bind, that's going to happen, and then those gears in there are not lined up, and then you're just getting wear, binding, everything. So I can't get on board with these. I'm taking these right back off. There's not going to be any running clips with these really, because it's just not happening. I'm not even wasting my time trying to get running clips with these, to be honest. That's just me being honest. I think the portals can be cool. I'm looking forward to a couple of the other companies coming out with the entire axle setup with the portals. I think that'll be much better than kind of an add-on. At this point, I'm almost just, if I want that extra clearance, I'll just go with a little taller tire, you know, like, not super hyped about these. But maybe some of the others will step up and make a much better setup for us, and I can get on board with it. But for now, these are coming back off. I know I'll catch hate for speaking the truth on these, I'm sure, but I can't deal with that. So you guys let me know what you think. If you have any questions, hit me up. I'll try to answer what I can. Didn't even really get any runtime with these. I ran a slight little bit. Even with cutting the stock axle off, these screw heads want to stick out, and they're rubbing this weight on the inside. So these weights are just going to be a no-go with these set of portals anyways. They really just need, like I said, some screws up here somewhere, like here and here, screwing in to something, you know, or a screw in the top going in, because there's just nothing at the top, and then these aren't grabbing very well, and it's getting all that nasty flex. So maybe there'll be a rework on these, but pretty disappointed in these. I think they were rushed trying to get these to be the first set onto the market, and it's gonna bite them a bit. The other thing is, if I was gonna run these all the time, I definitely wouldn't run wideners. I don't like my truck sitting that wide. I don't want it to be an 18th scale. This could stand to be widened a bit, but it's even this style truck, you know, I don't really care too much what this looks like, because it's just, it is what it is. But something like this especially, I just really don't want it that wide. With the hard body and everything, I just think it looks kind of goofy. So I definitely wouldn't run wideners with these normally, so you would be in a little more like this probably, and I think that would work. But like I said, I'm taking these right back off. So let me know what you think. Don't forget the AMain and Amazon links. I'll post up all my favorite SCX24 upgrades in there in the description. And let me know if you need anything. I appreciate it, everybody. Peace.